Welcome to a brand new episode of On VJ's Playlist. Firstly, to all our viewers who are watching, a very happy Independence Day on behalf of Bipul Chettri and myself. And of course, no prizes for guessing there. We are very pleased to be hosting the immensely sensational and the extremely respected in the Indian independent music scene, Bipul Chettri. Welcome, Bipul. Firstly, how are you? I know it's been a long day at the school, but I am really thankful that you have chosen to speak to us and to me on my channel. How have you been?
Thank you. I've been great, great. Had a really good couple of months, summers, where I got to, shoot this video in a very beautiful location, and been making new music a lot. So yeah, I've been great. Thank you.
Speaking of new music, for fans of Bipul who are excited to know if he has new music coming up, yes, he has just dropped his latest single, Bahra Mahina, which is now available on all music streaming platforms. The music video of which premiered last night on YouTube. Congratulations, Bipul. This is very good news for all your fans. Um, I heard the song. I had the good fortune of being sent the song by your team, sometime last week, and it speaks about a very pertinent and a very um, relatable concept that we are so caught up in the rat race. We are so caught up in trying to sustain ourselves and earn a livelihood and pay our bills that we often forget to live for the moment, enjoy things of the present. I was reading an Instagram post some days back, and it spoke about how we are either overwhelmed by the trauma of the past or we are constantly worrying about the future. And seldom do we remember to actually live in the present. So, for your listeners and for your fans, would you like to speak more about Bara Mahina?
So yeah, as you have mentioned already, Bahra Mahina is about this, dilemma of life. I guess I think it happens to most of us. We go through life just, wanting to live in the future always, and then we forget the present. So in this case, in the song, it mentions about where you spend a whole 12 months working
Yeah.
and to save up a living for when you get older, and then but on the cost of time, you finish up your youth without living the youth. So it's this really funny situation where it's like almost like a catch-22 situation. Like what do you do? Like but we need to do the work to be able to sustain your livelihood further from there. But then also on the bargain, you're losing, your youth, the days when you can actually do so much, see so much, and so basically it's this situation that the song talks about. And yeah, it also talks about it in a very light way as well. It's not, not in a very heavy, serious way, because it's something I think we should ponder about, but at the same time not get too serious about it. So it's the irony of life, which it's sad but true. So that's what Bharamahina is all about.
And this song actually has been a piece of art that has come out after a substantially long gap, if I'm not mistaken.
So I released another song just a couple of months back, but that was more like a song dedicated to the damage that is caused in the River Tista. So this is a full band, full length song. Yes, it has come about, yes, after a couple of years, actually.
But yes, this is a significantly it's been a long wait since your third album, Samaya, that came out back in the lockdown years. I think
Yes,
it was
22.
released in 2021, and it was
Yes,
pretty much a reflection about all the days that you saw through the lockdown. But before we come to that,
yes.
people, you've had an eventful journey. It's been, I mean, when we speak about just your active releases, it started with Wildfire when it was
Hmm.
a SoundCloud release back in 2013. Firstly,
Yes.
congratulations to you for a decade in music, a decade in independent music. And
Thank you.
as much as we are measuring the uh, the quantum of music through the years that you have been working, I don't think so any of us can any one of us can even fathom what it has taken you to come this far. So when you really
Hmm.
look back at from the time you actually released Wildfire to now Bara Mahina, how do you look at your journey in retrospect?
I mean, for any a musician like me or an artist, to be able to live a life of the dreams is, I think that's, I consider myself very lucky to be able to follow my passion and make a livelihood with that and do that every day and night. So, I mean, it's been a great journey. Initially when I started it, when I wrote Wildfire, I did not even imagine that song would take me this far, you know. Looking back, I mean, I think it's filled me more with gratitude than anything else, you know, seeing so many other talented people, artists who sometimes don't get the opportunity that maybe I have gotten. So yes, so it's made me wiser. It has made me grateful. Of course, it has made me very happy, and everything else included. And of course, it's been a lovely journey so far.
Of course, Bipul, there's so much spoken about. I mean, right now, when I speak to a lot of younger singer-songwriters, they actually do emphasize on, the kind of pressure that is being uh, it's not a pressure from, it's not like an external kind of a pressure, but they pretty much feel that it's in the air, the pressure to release a song in a certain language which they are not technically very comfortable writing in. That I know a lot of
Hmm.
artists who are who started performing in English are now switching to
Hmm.
Hindi because Hindi is
Hmm.
the one that's carrying the wider connect.
Hmm. Hmm.
Similarly, how did you find that conviction when you were starting out and you have been releasing songs, which are inspired from, uh, you know, uh, the folklore and the lives that are lived in Darjeeling? A lot of it has Nepali influences. Where did you find that conviction to stick to the language that you were best comfortable in?
So, as many did, I grew up, emulating American music, American artists, you know, rock music, pop music of all sorts. I studied Western classical music for a long period of time. You know, so I've had an upbringing of basically music of more of the West than maybe our side. But as I grew up, you know, there was this search of identity which was always there. It was like empty space inside. No matter how much ever I tried, doing the music, English music and other sorts. I did not. I felt a lack of satisfaction somehow, and I didn't realize what it was. I was just, you know, and later on I realized I was trying to find a connection, a search for my own roots and you know my own. It was an instinctual, basically, feeling that came about, and I thought I was trying to. I was being a little fake. I was trying to fake being like somebody else, you know, instead of trying to be myself. So later on, when I first was dabbling in the folk music, in the Himalayan Nepali folk music, so I wrote this song, which was the Wildfires, you know, the first song. After I wrote the song, I got a sense of completion somehow. I felt like I was actually communicating my truest feeling
Hmm.
and communicating about the place that I have actually seen, not just, you know, some place that I'm imagining. Uh, so then when I wrote the song, then so the kind of feedback I got from the people around, which I never thought I ever would, it made me believe that there was some connection which was real in this one, and it made sense to me. And more than anybody else, I felt complete and very happy when the final product came about, which was not just the language aspect of it, but the music aspect was also an amalgamation of what I had learned throughout my life, you know, and also, you know, of the folk aspect. And so it all started to make sense in a way that it all fit a puzzle somehow. And after I released that song, then after that I wrote another song. I thought that was just one-off wonder, and anyone can have that. And I did not really at that point in time, I did not really believe that I could take this further. So then I started writing. Then I wrote another song called Asar, which got equal
Yeah.
number, if not more praise. And then even to make sure of that, I wrote one more song called Mountain High. Then after I wrote these three songs and I released it on SoundCloud, it just got more and more popular, and there were more and more people started sort of writing to me about it. Then I sort of thought that yes, I think there's something was right about this, something was true about this. And as I was also liking it a lot, I felt very connected with this form of music. And then, of course, then I released the EP, Sketches of Darjeeling, after writing five songs. And that EP just took off like nothing else. So yeah, and then rest is history. Then I started touring, and I didn't have a, I never had a concert of that magnitude. All these years doing other forms of music, but when this happened, it was just beautiful, both outside and inside. There was a completion, there was a sense of fulfillment as a person and as who I was, a connection to my roots. At the same time, the expression was you know felt by everybody else, even people who did not understand the language. So yeah, so that's how I got the conviction to take it forward and to believe in my original ideas, and yeah, and then all of that.
Incidentally, this year also marks a decade since you released your debut album, Sketches of Darjeeling. We are talking about releasing an album back in 2014 when DSPs weren't really that big then. Like you said, you started your journey with with SoundCloud demos, and I mean, you've still managed to stay relevant. But if you could just enlighten us about the challenges that you may have faced when you were trying to, put out Sketches of Darjeeling to the world. How, I mean, if you could rewind and go back in time, or has it
Hmm.
thought ever occurred to you that, okay, maybe if with all the you know sources that we have at disposal today, you think maybe
Hmm.
releasing Sketches of Darjeeling in today's day and age would have been easier?
Of course, there are definitely more platforms nowadays,
Yeah.
definitely for sure. There are more reach as well. I mean, I think people get, immense number of views in a very, very short period of time now,
Hmm.
compared to what it was then. So that time, platforms like this were very few. There's just YouTube, of course, and there's the SoundCloud, and maybe a few others. So it was very limited. And it was not necessarily dependable in the sense that it would work, because how many people would be on SoundCloud? Like people would be on YouTube. Everybody would be on YouTube, right? Or everybody would be on other platforms nowadays, whichever that is. So, you had to keep your fingers crossed, obviously. And in my case, what happened was that I was not doing it to sort of, to uh, uh, get the maximum amount of views. I was not doing it in sorts in terms of making, taking it as a career and anything. I was just doing it because that was the only way I could sort of publish it through my Facebook.
Yeah.
There was the SoundCloud was the only platform where I could post it and then share a link. So that's how I came about using that, and then but now of course it's different scene altogether. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think those were the shortcomings basically, and we were very new to all of this. We were learning. So I'm just lucky that things work out. Of course, I don't think it would work out now if that was the case. One will have to push it more, and one will have to see other avenues. So yeah, and YouTube necessarily don't you do not necessarily have to have a video for YouTube. You can just put all my songs of that EP. It's not a video; it's just an audio file. Posted with the album cover, and then yet people listen to it. I think nowadays YouTube has become a very visual platform where if there is no video to a song, then nobody would even bother to click it because then, it is, compared to Spotify or other places, YouTube, I think, would not go well if without a video of sorts, compared to what it was then.
But Bipul, do you ever, now that, of course, I mean, we can't be averse or not averse. We can't be unaware about what's happening now in the music scene today with so much of information, and it's actually overwhelming now, the kind of information and the amount of releases that people are seeing every day on different DSPs. Does it ever occur to you that okay, I see that younger artists today are doing all these things, like somebody's creating a reel, or somebody's creating a travel
Mm,
story, or somebody's just somehow using the new
mm.
song in some collaborative or the other and pushing it on social media.
Yeah.
Do these ideas ever sort of get you thinking that, okay, maybe if I want to reach out to a relatively younger audience,
Mm.
these are certain things that I may want to incorporate in my process?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, we've been doing this the way we wanted to, and then, you know, it's not, I mean, we don't want to sort of pressurize ourselves into sort of making it like a sell, we don't want to be a sellout in a sense. So we do, I mean, we started to make more videos, of course, nowadays compared to what we used to be maybe a couple of years back. Like we do have at least one or two videos. Before we never had any video, we just released the audio. So so on whatever ways we can, we try, but not up to a point that, we want to go to that extent of making reels and stuff like that. But having said that, we managed to gather quite a few number of young listeners in our concerts. Mostly nowadays, we have listeners, with an average age of maybe 22 to 25. So that's been surprising for us as well. Without, you know, I mean, considering that we have, a little older band, but yeah, of course, we try to do whatever we can. We try, but we've not sort of made reels and stuff like that. We have here and there in terms of people talking stuff, but like actively, we don't actively make reels and things like that. In our Instagram and stuff like that.
You're the licentiate of Trinity College, London, and much of your training has been into Western classicals. And now you are also teaching at the Vasant Valley School in New Delhi. How gratifying is it that you also, for a living, you also get to teach, and you like, music is a constant in your life, uh,
Mm.
24/7. So if we have to fall back to your current release, Bahra Mahina, I don't think so. There's much for you to complain about, or do you feel that there is a parallel that can be drawn with your new release?
I mean, we all living it. I mean, directly, indirectly, we all living that dilemma of trying to make a living so that not just the present but also the future is taken care of. So I mean, I mean, there be very few people who maybe not do not fall into this bracket. But yeah, I mean, I was teaching even before I got into making and releasing music like this. So teaching has been a constant in my life, and I enjoy that because it's also fulfills a certain side of my personality, I guess. It's nice to be with kids. They're full of ideas. Nice to share. Nice to see someone. Nice to let the kids learn something new. Nice to hone their skills. Nice to see a child growing up to be a great musician. So all of that, it's a nice journey. At the same time, of course, you also have a parallel, which being a professional, you also do your thing. So it's just so I think it for me it has balanced well out in the sense like I get to be grounded at the same time I also get to sort of be there on stage, singing for thousands of people. So for me, I think this is a good leveler, it keeps me grounded, focused, real. And yeah, and then of course, it also fuels my creativity to further, make good music.
I've always admired, and it has always sort of, awed me that how Darjeeling has always been, this breeding ground of teachers who end up teaching future generations. So I think it's just serendipity of sorts that, I mean, you also happen to belong from the same league of
Mhm.
excellent teachers. But having said that, Bipul, has there ever been a moment in your journey as an artist where it has also been uh, where you have felt a certain sense of lull? Sometimes, where you feel that you've stumbled upon a block. You're not able to write words, or you're not able to like phrase them the way, as poetically as you thought you would. We Everyone faces a creative block sometime in the in the middle of their journey. So on
Mm.
such days, what have you told yourself, or how have you worked your way around it through the uncertainty?
So I think a writer's block, or a block in terms of uh, uh, creating something new and different is, I think, a part of every artist's life. And in my case, whenever I've come across a block like that, I've completely stopped uh, doing that piece of work for some time, and then I come back to it later on when I feel that I'm again back in the right frame of mind. Though I think the worst thing for me has been to keep on continuing to do that piece of work, despite of you really struggling to sort of get across what you're trying to say. I think it's absolutely necessary for an artist or for a musician to be able to be in a very uh, uh, what should I say, not be too serious about their work when they're doing so, because when you start thinking too strongly about a certain thing, in a sense that when you try to shape a certain thing too strongly, I think it somehow, in my case, it has not worked.
Yeah.
It has always been the idea first and where the idea wants to go, and you just try to sort of help the idea follow its way across and see how it blossoms. It's like a small seed you plant, and then and you cannot force the plant to grow in a certain way. The plant will grow the way it
Oh,
is. You can just nourish the plant and just let it grow the way it grows.
yeah.
So that has been my approach, and so yeah, so that's what I normally do. So I just wait, if the song doesn't go forward in a way, I just wait for it to come back to me, and then so I wait for another day, another fresh day, so that and get back to the same point in time and see where it's leading today. So and then yeah, and slowly, surely it does eventually blossom to be a song, and that's I guess how I've dealt with my blocks, stumbling blocks.
Um, Vipul, because you spoke about also teaching, little kids and learning so much from them, there is a lot of stress and emphasis upon the need of music education in our country today. In your opinion, how far or how near are we towards realizing this, reality?
I mean, to be honest, I think we're still at a very basic phase in terms of music education is concerned. I can talk about music. I mean, of course, there are avenues for maybe Indian classical music, but if one wants to pursue a form of music besides the Indian classical, there are not many, places to go, for higher studies, or not many conservatories or anything of that sort. So one always has to go out of the country, places like Berkeley and other places which are not cheap at all. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very So I think at this point in time, uh, I mean, if one wants to follow a global music, it is still we are still unfortunately in a very very basic level.
You have also opened at, the Wembley Arena. You've Your music has traveled across the globe, and you have a lot of fan following amongst so many countries that I can't even name right now. Or I mean, you have listeners, writing into you from Australia, from New Zealand, from UK, US, everywhere. Do you remember a very humbling fan review or a fan reaction to your music that has stayed very dear to you?
Um, I mean, one thing that comes to mind was many years back when I performed in a concert, and there was this boy who came to my green room to to take an autograph and sort of wanted to take a picture, and then he said that if I'm okay, he'd like to show me something. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So and then he just opens his t-shirt, and then so he had tattooed like a lyric of my song in both his arms and all of that. So that was scary at the same time. It was very overwhelming for me, I would say, and of course, and also that it meant so much to him, like the piece of music and the words that he actually made a tattoo out of that in his body, which you know. So yeah, that I think that really I can never forget that reaction.
Your song immortalized on a human body. I mean, that can't
Yeah.
it can't get more humbling than that. But because we
Yes.
spoke about, social media trends, we spoke about how the newer generation is resorting to various practices, to ensure that their music is heard by a huge audience. But if I can ask you, what is that one trend or that one practice that you will not subscribe to, no matter how in vogue it is, how much everyone is resorting to it? That is one thing that you will not subscribe to at all.
The new trend you're saying.
Yeah.
Maybe I would never lip sync or never play
With the
with a
backing
backing
track.
track. Yes, I think that's something which I don't think I'll ever do. You know.
Why in your opinion you think that artists resort to backing tracks? I mean, we always discuss about this amongst peers who go to live performances, and we feel that it completely robs away from our experience, and we are not really paying a humble money to watch you lip sync. So, but why, in your
Hmm.
opinion, do artists resort to this? Like, why do you think is there a compulsion?
I don't know. I think it's just uh, s- people. I think really look day in and day out. They try to look for shortcuts,
Yeah.
look the easy way out because maybe because of the magnitude of number of I don't know. I mean, it's just I think a very easy way out of a situation for whatever reason, and the fact I think I mean I don't really the fact that the artist is willing to sing in a backing track I think says a lot about what the artist feels about his or her music. I mean, uh, it's I mean it's kind of sad to have people sing and backing track in the biggest of venues. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is something which was unheard of and which is really appalling
Um,
for, I could speak for a musician to be able to sing in a concert with a backing track. It's, I don't know. It's not happening really. It's not honest at all.
Bipul, if you've had the opportunity, or rather, whenever you're unwinding and there are artists, Indian independent artists or acts that you listen to at leisure, who have been your favorites in the recent years?
Recent years, uh, Gaunle Bhai, a band based out of Bangalore, but
Yeah.
from the same hometown that I belong to, Kalimpong. Yeah, they have been my recent favorites because I think their music is original, it's honest, and it's real. It's organic, and I think it's very exciting to listen to them, watch them live, and uh, yeah, and, they're bringing out some real good stuff. I think even at this day and age where people resort to backing tracks. Yeah, so I would definitely vouch for Gaunle Bhai.
Bipul, as we conclude this interview, and this has been an extremely gratifying interview to say the least. But when we, now that we are looking into uh, hopefully more lucrative, if that's the right word, a more lucrative and a more promising future for Indian independent music, considering that we are breaking out. A lot of the recognition that was possibly lacking, or was something that everyone was chasing up to some years ago, is now catching up. The world is catching up, and things are looking very promising on the horizon. Uh, how do you look at the future of um, the kind of music or the genre of music that, hopefully will find its, moment in the sun someday?
I think it's very exciting time for our country as far as independent music is concerned because I think, as you said, we are breaking grounds and there are lot of acts and a lot of bands who are trying and willing to go that far in terms of making a mark without being stereotypical about their music. Without they're not afraid to be out there regardless of what it brings in terms of monetarily or any other ways. So I think we are on the cusp of something great, and I feel that in the next 5-10 years we are going to sort of bloom as a nation, especially in the field of independent music, which is actually a long time coming, considering how much of talent and resource we have in our country from various parts. We have so much to offer, so much variety and so much creativity. It's only a matter of time. I think we'll be there. It's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time, and I hope it is sooner, but not later. But thank you so much, Vipul, for taking the time out to speak to me for On Vijay's playlist. And I wish you all the very best for your endeavors on and off music. And hopefully, when you're in town, I get to meet you in person.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for all your best wishes. Thank you.